I'm Steve, and this is my wife Gayna. And it was actually Gayna's idea about looking at our financials in terms of what we were going to do with our super and insurances and so forth moving forward. And I know Gayna spoke to her dad, and it was her dad that recommended First Financial, and we went from there.
My dad had a long relationship with Ben. Dad lived overseas originally. I think when some of the expats came home, they found Ben. And that, when you find a good person and the reputation sort of follows, you get referrals. And Dad found Ben through that and liked working with him, found that Ben's very honest. Dad recommended Ben to us actually for a long time before we actually did approach Ben, because we thought, no, we didn't, sort of probably not in the right financial position, because we thought Ben was probably more high range sort of financial needs, and we were just sort of starting out. But we got to the point where we had 4 children and we were building a house, and we were probably hemorrhaging a fair bit of money, and we'd swapped jobs, and so we had superannuation everywhere, and we'd been with financial planners, but it sort of just felt like it was a visit, sign, see you later, and you weren't really sure where you were at. So when we talked to Ben, we had a great conversation over the phone. What do you need? This is how we can help you. And then we met Steph and went from there. Ben and Steph came up to Sydney. So being remote is not an issue at all. We see them twice a year, and phone calls whenever we need them, emails. So easy to work with and so personable. So, and good to trust. And my dad, that's one of the things with my dad. He said, I wouldn't recommend somebody that I didn't trust.
If you don't have that comfort feeling with them and you don't know anyone that's dealt with them, the ones that we have dealt with previously, all very good in terms of what they do and knowledgeable, but the relationship wasn't there, I don't think.
No.
And I know you were dealing more with it, but from my perspective, that's what I saw. That, we just get things emailed to you and it was like, well, what do we do with that?
It's generally a bill involved.
Yeah. Probably about 15 years late, given that we've rebuilt the house, as you said, changing jobs. And I think it wasn't until we met with Ben and Steph that we realised that we, not in a bad way, but given that we had 4 kids, we needed to make sure that we did things to obviously protect them moving forward. We found out that our health insurance, our life insurance was not going to cover what we needed it to cover, especially with 4 children. So that was a bit of an eye-opener, and I guess glad that we had met with Ben and Steph when we did, because that's now sorted. And as Gayna said, all the superannuation accounts that we had that were all over the place from the last 30 years, all got consolidated. We can sit back and just let Ben and Steph do what they need to do to help us with that, and there's less stress or worry on us, and we've got enough of that at the moment without having to worry about that.
I try to do all the paperwork here, so Steve's not sort of that bothered with it with his work. It's just taken a lot of pressure out of that. I can just email Steph and go, I've got this, I don't know what this is for. I don't have to worry about my logins to things, and I can just email Steph and go, this has come in, do I need to action it, do I not need to action it? Or a lot of times she will actually preempt it and email me and go, there'll be things coming to you over the next couple of weeks, this is what you need to look out for, this is what you need to do. And so she just keeps me in control of sort of what I need to focus on and what I can just disregard.
Ongoing suggestions that both Ben and Steph give us, some of which we can do relatively quickly, others are, they know where we are financially at the moment in terms of how busy we are with kids and work, and so there's a lot of plans there. I wouldn't say we've hit any specific goals at this stage, financial goals. It was more to ensure that our superannuation was neat and tidy, and it was going to generate as much income as possible for us in the future.
Well, we do have the retirement goals, so they're working.
And definitely the life insurance. That was probably one of the biggest ones. Knowing that we were so undercovered was quite a frightening thought.
And there are the conversations you have where they go, well, for you to retire, you do need this much money. And we looked at our super and went,
We won't be retiring anytime soon.
Working to infinity. But that even that conversation in 3 years has sort of changed because we know we're on a clearer path. We get a review every 6 months, and it's very clear in the documentation that they give us where things have improved, and they're very upfront. So they'll go, this didn't work so well, we're moving to here, this is why, or we're going to stay there because we think that's really going to jump up. And we know they have a big team behind them of analysts, because I have thrown back questions and gone, well, why are you choosing this fund? Because they haven't performed. Steph comes back with a lot of information to reassure us that it's the right information and the right thing to do. But at any point in time, if we go, no, we're not happy with that, we know they'll just readjust and fix it and move on. I think with superannuation as well, they've helped us come up with strategies, because I have changed careers with having children and no longer working full time and no longer being able to bump up my super as aggressively as we probably could have been when I was working. So we've taken an impact on that as well, but they've helped us with strategies to balance that out. So I'm not so impacted at the moment by not being in full-time work and not earning significant cash to add to the super. I guess there's reassurance there as well that even though we don't see it, they're in the background just manoeuvring things to make sure we're covered. And then every 6 months they tell us what they've done. We go, great. Didn't have to do a thing. I think for us, the wealth building aspect of what we're doing is to give us independence. So when we're older, so we're not controlled by a pension or what the government says we can or cannot have. We're not naive, there's uncertainty around that as well in the future, and we know ageing population. So we need to be independent in how we look at it. We want to have a nice lifestyle. With 4 children, we are going to have grandchildren, you would assume. So we want to, get to Christmas time and not be stressed about the presents and that lifestyle, and have holidays and, drive nice cars because we work hard. So we want perks in our lifestyle as well that will continue. We've seen people impacted when things have gone wrong really fast, and the damage for some people can be for the rest of their life. And
the government subsidies and so forth that are offered do not help, So I think, that would be one of my key messages is, aside from what Gayna mentioned before, is definitely the life insurance.
Yeah, and getting control and security of your world.